Hello, this is Nour Yassain, and today we're gonna discuss the narrative tenses. What are the narrative tenses? Narrative tenses are used to talk about past events and to tell stories. It's not a coincidence that we have this kind of a grammar in Unit 7 since we have already discussed Charles Dickens and some topics related to the English literature. However, narrative tenses are four tenses that we often use for talking about past events. The most common of these is the past simple, and the other three tenses are the past continuous, the past perfect simple, and the past perfect continuous. So, to make it clear, let's look at this context. Bond opened the door very slowly, looked carefully around the room, and walked in. The window was open and the curtains were blowing in the wind. Clearly, someone had left in a hurry. In this context, we have verbs that are past simple, like opened, looked, walked, and was. We have past continuous, like were plowing. With regard to the past perfect, we have had left. So, I'm assuming that you are familiar with this kind of tense, but in this class we're gonna dig a little bit deeper with some details, and I will start with simple past tense. So we use the past tense to talk about something that happened once in the past, like I met my wife in 1983. So the first one or the first usage of the simple past is to talk about something that happened once in the past, like I met my wife in 1983. Here we have the verb met. The second one is something that happened several times in the past. Here I don't want you to be confused with the fact that it's like a habit. Like in the example, when I was a boy, I walked a mile to school every day, since every day it's a kind of habit. That's something you do as a routine. But you need to be focused on the fact that we are talking about past actions. Another example, we swam a lot while we were on a holiday. They always enjoyed visiting their friends. Here we have the verbs walked, swam, enjoyed in its past form. They are some of the walked as regular verbs, ends with ed. Enjoyed also regular verb, while swam is irregular verbs, which is a swam, then it's in its past form is swam. Let's move to the past simple question and negatives. We use did to make questions with the past simple. For example, did she play tennis when she was younger? Did you live abroad? When did you meet your wife? Where did you go for your holidays? In these examples, as you can see, we add did to make a question. The most important thing that you to be aware of is the fact that the verb after did must be in its space form. So did she play tennis when she was younger? You can't say did she played tennis when she was younger. So we use did to make a question with the past simple. For negation, we only add not with did. For example, they didn't go to Spain this year. We didn't get home until very late last night. I didn't see you yesterday. Again, you need to be careful with the fact that with didn't, the verb must be in its base form. You can't say they didn't went to Spain this year. You can't say they didn't went. You have to say they didn't go to Spain this year. So, what are the signal words, or as we used to call them, the keywords for the simple past? We have yesterday, last week, a month ago, in 2010, this morning, and for example, let's look at this question. What did you do in your last holidays? Here we have the keyword last. which is an indicator for the past tense. His parents married in 2004. Here we have 2004. I didn't text my friend yesterday. Did you miss the bus this morning? This morning and yesterday, 2004 last. All of these are indicators for the past tense. Let's move to the past continuous tense. The past continuous tense, also known as the past progressive. So you have the option. You can call it the past continuous or the past progressive. Both are correct. The past continuous refers to a continuing action or step that was happening at some point in the past, which means that in the past there had been an action and this action happens for a period of time. يعني تركيزنا على فكرة الباست continuous إنه الفعل لما حصل في الماضي كان بيحصل على فترة من الوقت. The past continuous tense is formed by combining the past tense of to be, was, or were with the verbs present participle, the ing word, or the ing form. This is how to form the past continuous. Again, you have to put was or were, was for singular, were for plural, with the verb ing form. For example, I was working. You were working. He was working. She was working. It was working. We were working. You were working and they were working. He, she, it, and I with was, and the rest of the pronouns with were. In this tense, the past continuous, you need to make a quick revision for the stative and dynamic verbs, since with the stative verbs you can't use the ing form. For example, you can say when I got home I really needed a shower, but you can't say when I got home I really was needing a shower. You can't say was needing. You can't say was needing in its, because it's a stative verb. So a quick revision for the stative and dynamic verb will be very helpful. So there are many situations in which this verb tense might be used in a sentence. For example, it's often used to describe conditions that existed in the past, as we said before. The sun was shining every day that summer. It can also be used to describe something that was happening continuously in the past when another action interrupted here. Here we have some kind of interruption, which means يعني مقاطعة. حدث يقاطع حدث آخر. For example, I was making dinner when she arrived. قدومها عمل interruption, عمل مقاطعة لأنه أنا was making a dinner. So الفعل الأول was making بالpast continuous and the other one in the simple past. This is the most for my opinion, the most important usage for the past continuous is in the case of interruption. Let's move to the negative forms of past continuous. To make negative statements in the past, we use was or were plus not plus the verb ing form. Again, we have was or were plus not plus the ing form of the verb. In case of singular, we can say I was not talking. You were not talking. He or she or it was not talking. In the case of a plural, you can say we were not talking, you were not talking, or they were not talking. This is for negation. You only need to add not with the auxiliary was or were. For yes/no question, to create a question that will answered with yes or no, use was or were or was not or were not for a negative question with the verb ing form. For example, was I singing? Were you singing? Was he or she or it singing? This is for singular. Let's say the plural forms. Were we singing? Were you singing? Were they singing? In the actual statement, it was I was singing. In the yes-no question, it comes to be was I singing? So it's just a kind of inversion between the auxiliary and the subject. It's reordering for the parts of the sentence. For example, were you singing? It was you were singing. This is a statement. You were singing. For a question, were you singing? This is for the past continuous. Let's move to the past perfect tense. When to use the past perfect? Please be careful with these red lines here. We have two red lines. The past perfect symbol is used to describe one action that happened before another action in the past. The main idea is that we have two actions, both of them are in the past, but one of them happened before the another. The first one in the past perfect and the other one will be in the simple past, which means عنا حدثين التنين صاروا بالماضي. تركيزنا انه التنين صاروا بالماضي. الحدث اللي صار قبل بيكون بالماضي التام اللي هو ال past perfect وال other one simple past. Which means in many cases a complete sentence is written in two parts with two different tenses. The past perfect symbol to refer to the action that happened first or earlier. That's what I was talking about. You have two actions. Both of them are in the past. بس في واحد صار قبل التاني. اللي صار قبل بيكون بالماضي التام. How to form the past perfect? You only need to add the auxiliary had with the verb 3. For example, by the time Doris got to the party, everyone had gone home. We have had gone as the past perfect and the keyword by the time. We're gonna discuss the keywords later in a bit, but we have the past perfect had gone, which is had plus verb 3. How to make a negative sentences in the past perfect simple tense. We only need to add not with the auxiliary had. For example, Samantha had not had time to explain her side of the story. My friends had not ever gone to France. My friend had never gone to the US either. Here, as you can see, we only add not or never to express negation. For yes, no question in the past perfect simple, it's very close to the idea of the past continuous, where we have reordering of the parts of the sentence. For example, you're gonna start with had, then the subject, then the verb in past participle form, then the rest of sentence. For example, had you had time to rehearse your song? It was I had had time to rehearse my song. So, in the order of a question, it changed into had you had time to rehearse your song? Or had she eaten there before? It was she had eaten there before. This is a statement order. For a question order, it comes to be had she eaten there before? And this is for a question. Another example, had you cleaned up the mess by the time they came home? Had Adam ever spoken to the CEO before he was fired? Again, here we have the past perfect, had cleaned and had spoken, but with the question order. You have to start with had, then the subject, then the verb in its past participle form, and the rest of the sentence. The keywords we have after. For example, after she had moved out, I found her notes. Also we have until. I didn't say anything until she had finished talking. We have before I knew it, she had run out of the door. And we have also by the time he found her, she had found someone new. The most common of these keywords are after and before. You need to put the past perfect after, and the opposite with before always followed by the simple past, and in the other part of the tense of the sentence you need to put the past perfect, the other way around with after. I think this is all for today. I hope you enjoy this class, and see you in next class inshallah.